like me to stop fucking reading the damn letter. I don't like stopping it. It's up my time. Does respond and you know.
Just a maybe that something's booby-trapped here.
J.B. Dix trained his expert eye on their surroundings.
Don't see it, Ryan. No wires, no batteries, nothing big enough to hide a grin. That's part of the cupboard there.
Against the wall next to the heavy vanadium steel door was a green metal cabinet. Jack slid past Ryan, eager to prove himself.
Ah, look. Easy, Whitey.
The boy moved slowly across the room. He made it about halfway to the cupboard.
Stop right there.
Why?
Look at the floor.
None of them had noticed the dust. Jack's feet had left deep impressions in the velvet soft layer, nearly a half-inch thick.
Whoa, sloppy fucking housekeepers they got here. Has to be untouched for years, maybe decades. Look at the table. It's everywhere.
The young up the cabinet, as if he feared an electric shock. He hesitated only a second, then grasped the handle and swung the door open. It was full of paper. There were 6 shelves on the left and 5 on the right, each filled with neat stacks of paper in different colors and sizes, along with folders and envelopes in cream and white and light brown. All blank. Jack pulled sheets off here and there, holding them up to show the others the smooth, untouched blankness.
Must be a store. Nothing used.
It was a disappointment to Ryan. As he moved through the Deathlands, he was always hoping to come across more information about the times before the Great Fighting. He'd seen books, films, vids, tapes, papers, but all of that gave only a glimpse through a tiny crack in time. Sometimes of finding some key to the past, some way of learning what madness had raced through the planet nearly a century back. Like a blinding virus, it had been an insanity that had torn apart the world, wrecking it beyond any hope of redemption. Too much had been lost for it ever to be put back together as it had been. The population had been decimated once, and then again and again. Most science had been lost forever, and Ryan believed that was no bad thing. From what little he'd learned about the years before 2001, it seemed that the scientists should carry almost as heavy a burden of responsibility for Deathlands as the rabid politicians. Now the best that he could hope for was that he and his friends would be like a single wave beating upon a polluted shore, washing over it and withdrawing, leaving the shingled beach a little cleaner.
Look at this newspaper. It's like dried ashes.
She laid it down on the table, moving the drink can out of the way. Ryan leaned over to read the faint newsprint. It was called the Ginsburg Falls Courier and was apparently registered in Ginsburg Falls, Oregon. It was dated January 19th, 2001.
Day before Armageddon.
What is it?
Newspaper from the last day of the old world.
JB, where's Oregon? Up north and west, isn't it?
Yeah, lay between California and Washington. Lots of mountains, not much else.
Never got there with the trader.
Me either.
The two men had known each other for nearly 10 years. Both of them had joined the wagon trains run by the man called the Trader. Ryan had become the right-hand man on the wags, and JB had been the armorer. They'd roamed most of the central part of Deathlands, buying cheap and selling expensive. It was a profession with a high risk factor. Times you met folks wanted to pay less than your price. Times you even met folks didn't want to pay at all. That was why the ordinary trucks were guarded by war wags. That was why you saw a heap of dying when you rode with the Trader.
What's it say?
Christie stooped lower, her shadow almost obscuring the delicate newspaper. As she moved it with one hand, parts of the edge flaked away, turning instantly into dust.
Don't breathe on it or it's going to fall apart.
Everyone moved back a little, except Doc Tanner, who seemed almost hypnotized by the crumbling artifact from before the big chill.
What was concerning the good people of Ginsburg Falls on the very day before most of them went grinning to meet their maker? Or was this just for the mindless robots who ran these redoubts?
Front page says in big letters, zoning row splits council. Doesn't say anything about there going to be a war or anything like that.
It must.
No. Next story's about women picketing a porn vid store on Red Maple Street.
Ryan shook his head and read more items from the front page.
Councilman Ewer promises ped Xing review. What's this? Shock scam threatens thrift store. There's not a word.
God damn it.
It can't be right. Doc, you know most about the past. It can't be from the day before it started.
Before the missiles darkened the skies and night eternal fell upon this land of the free? Oh, yes. If one saw a bigger...
Elliott claps his hands. He looks to swing it to Carter. Does so right side. Has some space in front of him over the 40. Good block in front by Newsom. And Carter has another first down. Bumped out of bounds on the far sideline. That's the right sideline for the Eels. At the 47, swing pass gains 11.
Yeah, good job by Carl Tuck on the right side as the tight end blocking, allowing Carter to get the seal. He was wearing Humphrey.